Hi, my name is Josh and I'm a Solutions Engineer for Zerto. I'd just like to give you a brief overview and a quick demo of what we're about. So here we have a sample replication architecture with 2 vCenters, and Zerto blends right into the existing virtual infrastructure with 0 downtime. So we have the Zerto Virtual Manager, which gives you the interface into vCenter, and from there we deploy 1 Zerto virtual replication appliance per host. And these are what actually replicate the data between the sites. So a key feature is that we replicate from anything to anything. Because we sit in the hypervisor, it doesn't matter whether you're using NetApp storage in one site, HP in another, even local disk. We replicate from anything to anything. We are highly scalable, so we have built-in scalability because we deploy 1 appliance per host. As you increase the size of your infrastructure, then you increase the power of Zerto. We also give you a recovery point objective of seconds with 0 performance impact. So we are not snapshot or scheduler based. We give you near sync continuous replication, and we also give you point-in-time recovery in the disaster recovery side of anything up to 5 days, so you can recover from application failure from a couple of days ago rather than just the nearest point in time. And we also have built-in bandwidth optimization and WAN resiliency. So Zerto will always use the minimum amount of bandwidth necessary in order to achieve the recovery point objective of seconds. So that's an overview of the architecture. Let's actually show you how it works in the real world. So here we have our London site, and we're replicating from London to Paris. Now this is bi-directional replication, so we have virtual machines going one way and coming back the other.
So the servers, they are really located in London and Paris, right?
Not really.
Not really.
But near enough.
What's the requirements for the bandwidth?
So the minimum bandwidth requirement is 5 meg, and there's no real requirement on latency. So it's whatever the amount of change that is happening, then the latency will affect how long it takes to replicate across. But it can be 400 milliseconds, it doesn't matter. So let's actually go to a list. So here we have a VPG list, so it's a virtual protection group, which is basically our container for all the virtual machines that make up an application. So we're replicating applications, not LUNs. It doesn't matter which LUNs they're on or how they're configured, we replicate the virtual machines that form that application.
I can see you can replicate from the vCenter to vCloud Director as well.
Yes, so we have...
That's a different icon, right?
Yep, so we have vCloud Director integration. So there you go. So when you're doing an actual failover, we will bring up the virtual machines in the vCloud environment. So let's just do a test failover. So here we have a database and a web server that form a virtual protection group. And here you can see the high level information. So the current recovery point objective is 9-10 seconds for this application. And here we have a live or a fail test over. Now the only difference between these two is that in a test failover, we're booting into a bubble network. So
in the sandbox.
Yes, so it's completely sandbox, using the data in the disaster recovery site, and all the while we're still protected. So, failover test, and here we have a checkpoint. So this allows you to fail back to any previous point in time, as I said, up to 5 days. And we also have VSS integration, so you can configure via our scripting your application consistent points as well as your crash consistent points. So I'll select this time, OK, next, failover. So that is how easy it is to do a failover test in Zerto. And if we go to our DR site, we'll see the task created at the bottom, and we'll see the database and web server VMs registered and powered on. So this is showing you that the recovery time objective of Zerto is the time that it takes to boot the virtual machines in the DR site. See these virtual machines powered on. we go back to the primary site, we'll see here, so it's indicating that it's beginning the failover test. And we are still protecting, and we still have the recovery point objective of 10 seconds. So this means that rather than disaster recovery testing being once every 6 months and 12 months, out of hours, and fingers crossed that it hopes, to being something that can be done once a month, and you are sure that it works and doesn't require any downtime. And so that's Zerto. Would you like to see anything else?
Thanks very much for the demo.